welcome to Living Freer. This is day 8 of our season of Thanksgiving. And I wanted to talk about a young man in my youth group from years ago named Sonny. Sonny was a young man who went with us on a trip to go canoeing in Florida. And as we were out in the nature and experiencing some of the most beautiful parts of Florida, one of the things that I noticed was that he was decked out on this hot day in a leather jacket with spikes on it, and he had colored his hair, some purple steel type color, and had put in a nose ring. Now, I don't think he actually pierced his nose, but he had a nose ring in. And I remember trying to address this with him and saying, why the change of look? You know, and it's because he wanted to express who he really was. He didn't want to be like everybody else, despite the fact that he was dressing like a lot of other people that he wanted to hang out with. So whenever he would say, well, I just want to be myself, I want to be different, I want to be an original. Well, by the end of the day and figuring out that he couldn't pick his nose very well with a nose ring in, and that it got very hot with that jacket on, by the end of the day he was in his t-shirt and jeans and having fun like everybody else. But I remember thinking of that term, I want to be an original. Isn't that what we all want to be? Painters, musicians, actors, everybody thinks that they're going to be an original. We are uniquely made by God. We are beautifully and uniquely made. But that credit goes to Him because He's the one who made us. So if anybody can be claiming the uniqueness, it's Him. And it should be Him. Because even in art and politics and every other aspect of life, even in ministry, we try so hard to be original, and that often takes us on a journey to try to distance ourselves from who we really are. Because in order to be different, we have to push away and take the credit ourselves. That's part of the process of being an original. We want to take the credit for who we are ourselves. I'm just going to be myself. When in fact, what are we? We are God's creation. This is why in the ministry, I find it hilarious that when you get all these contemporary pastors, and I've been one of them, who want to be an original, they end up all looking alike. They all seem to be competing for the cover of GQ magazine. They all have the same hair gel, and they all want to give you a quote that nobody has ever heard before, despite the fact that Scripture tells us very clearly there is nothing new under the sun. None of us are really originals, except one. God. God is an original. I was thinking the other day, because somebody sent me some pictures from Tennessee. There's a place called Cades Cove. It's a valley, and it's in the middle of the Smoky Mountains, and it is a beautiful place, and I love it during winter. I love it during spring, summer, and fall as well, because it pours out the knowledge of God. And I love that. I feel closer to God when I go there. And I check out what God is doing. You know, there's a quote from Albert Einstein. He says, look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better. And I don't know if he had God in mind when he said that, but I don't think he did. But I think it's a good statement. Because when you look into nature, you start seeing something phenomenally unique in God. I want you to consider this. Psalm 19. I love this passage. Love these verses. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows His handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and the words to the end of the world. There is no place where we cannot hear the voice of God by just looking into nature. But have we really considered the impact of what that means? I mean, God is more than just a pretty flower. I want you to consider this, that at a time when there was no reference, where there was no concepts to build upon, God invented color. He invented color. He invented texture. He invented shapes. God invented wind and the feeling you have when it comes across your face. God is the master inventor. Shapes did not exist until he created them. And it doesn't end with just what we see in the world, it's what we feel in the world. God invented emotion. Oh, I'm grateful to God that he invented laughter. When I see God's creation, there's so much more than I see. Because he did not imitate somebody else. He did not borrow from somebody else. He did not take pieces from somebody else. Everything that he did was from scratch. And that makes God the only and original. Today I'm thankful for God and his creation and his ability to invent so many beautiful things. I'm thankful to the mighty original.